U.S. National Championships have been held here, and today the World Arena is the site for the premier international event of the season held in the United States. Hi everybody, I'm Terry Gannon. Welcome to the official start of the figure skating season for those skaters who are Olympic eligible. As the initial event of the Grand Prix of skating, it kicks off a series of 6 high-profile competitions held all around the world. Now, skaters may compete up to 3 times in this series. However, only 2 of those appearances count in the standings. Based on their points earned in those 2 events, the top skaters move on at the end of the series to the Grand Prix final in Lyon, France in January. And for the first time ever, we'll be your home for the entire series here on ABC. We welcome in Olympic champion Peggy Fleming right now. And Peggy, the ladies take the ice a little bit later. And with this field, we get a look at America's best and America's future.
Well, Terry, it's a great story emerging from this short program. 2 of the brightest lights in American figure skating are leading the pack. Michelle Kwan met and surpassed all expectations despite a full course load at UCLA. And the big story here is Sarah Hughes, 14 years old and a breath of fresh air. Sarah is in second place, and I believe this young woman is very close to sharing the podium with her idol, Michelle Kwan. And this event may be the one.
Should be a great finish to the ladies competition. They come up a little bit later. Right now we turn our attention to the men and welcome in 2-time Olympic gold medalist Mr. Dick Button. And Dick, on the men's field on that side, you know, Americans well represented there too.
Well, you know, there's been some pretty zingy skating here in the men's competition, and the Americans should be very proud. They've taken 2nd, 3rd, and 5th places after the short program. But there's a fly in the ointment here, and that's the altitude. Now, some of the skaters got here early enough in order to be able to become adjusted to the altitude. But others, like Alexei Yagudin, the world champion, had real trouble and needed help in the short program. But I've got to tell you one thing, and that is, don't forget to watch Timothy Goebel and his jumping ability. Now, he's built like 6 o'clock, straight up and down. But when he jumps, I've got to tell you, he spins like a cyclone. He's planned 3 quadruples in his program. Nobody has ever done that many in one program. And if he succeeds, I think it'll be us that is needing the oxygen.
So the men's free skate about to get underway. Here are the standings after the short program. Alexei Yagudin in first. 3 Americans in the top 5. The reigning U.S. champ Michael Weiss in second. Then Timothy Goebel and Matthew Savoy right behind Elvis Stoiko. Savoy was terrific with his short program.
Representing Canada, Elvis Stoiko.
And to get us underway here in the men's free skate, the 5-time national champion of Canada and 3-time world champion Elvis Stoiko in 4th place after the short program.
And he loves Star Wars, the music, Star Wars Episode 1, The Phantom Menace, and Springtime in Aranjuez. Stoiko, short, powerful, staccato steps, wonderful jumps. He knows he needs this opening quadruple toe, double toe combination. Now, that was strong. Strong, clean, fast entrance, fast exit. Look at these steps. Move, triple Lutz jump.
The 2-time Olympic silver medalist was, of course, bothered by the groin injury at the '98 Olympics and broke his collarbone this past May, but now he says he's back to 100% on the ice.
I think this kind of choreography fits him very well. Staccato steps, quick jumps. This combination of triple axel, double toe. He seems to be on tonight as he was not on during the short program here.
Season, Elvis left his longtime coach, Doug Lee. He is now coached by Tim Wood, the two-time world champion.
He needs a second triple axel. Wow. He really held on to that one. He has an exceptionally powerful legs. He just pushed that one right through. Jump. He almost seems as though he's beginning to run out of steam a little bit. Although he's landing these triple jumps easily. Well, good for him. You know, at 27, he's been out of a long time. He's had some pretty tough luck with that groin injury, and then again the broken collarbone. And now he's competing against guys that are really anywhere from 9 to 10 years younger than he is. And I'm really glad that he was able to pull this performance off so well. Now, look at the way he takes off into this jump, this quadruple toe jump. Step, toe pick, 1, 2, 3, 4, down. Good back reach and a nice double toe loop at the end of it. He has been able to do triples after that quadruple, but this was really first rate. Now, just look at this, the way that the strength in that, the power in that, the crossed feet, the tight turning of the revolution. Now, watch the landing, absolutely clean. You know, that is first rate. I mean, that's great to see.
You got to believe the judges like that performance. Let's take a moment right now to look at what the judges might be looking for here in the men's free skate. Some of the things, at least. First, a well-balanced program. The jump technique, the good flow in and out of jumps, the height, the position in the air, the originality of the program, and the quality of the spins.
And now the judges marks for Elvis Stoichkov for required elements. 5-7, 5-7.
Elvis with his choreographer, one of his coaches, Ushi Kessler, and the first set of marks for technical merit now.
Now, 5.6. These are pretty good marks. Look, France and Germany have them a little bit low, but you have to compare where they placed him in connection with the other skaters.
Marks for presentation.
Those are, I think, are a justification of his, of his performance, and certainly a comeback for him.
5.5 to 5.7 for presentation, and a great free skate here for Elvis Stoichkov, the three-time world champion.
Presenting the United States, Timothy Goebel.
Well, the jumps have progressed so quickly in this sport. As you look right now at Timothy Goebel taking the ice here in the World Arena, the men's free skate continuing, and the reigning U.S. bronze medalist in third place after the short program and with the most ambitious free skate ever planned here tonight. 3 quads.
Music from the motion picture 7 Years in Tibet. An easy programmer. Oh, and he fell right off that toe pick. No sooner had I said that's an easy jump for him, and he slipped right off that toe pick.
How do you have the confidence to try 3 quads now after that?
Well, you either get mad and do it, or it does affect you. This one, a triple axel, triple toe loop. He did the second triple toe loop, and he slid off the edge in the first triple axel, and that's a very dangerous thing to do. If he's going to do those quads, they'll be right here. The first a quad Salchow. Quad Salchow triple toe loop. That was a bit of okay. Coming back from those 2 errors. Second quad planned is right here, a quad toe loop. Good boy. And if he does this next one, it will be a quad Salchow. The same as the one he did before, but not in combination. There you have it.
The first skater ever to complete 3 quadruple jumps in one program. And it's amazing to think it was less than 2 years ago that he became the first American ever to successfully complete 1 quad in a program.
Now that he's completed his jumps, take a look at the rest of his skating. Laurie Nickel, choreographer for Michelle Kwan, has given him a new program, more adapted to his style of skating, which has not been classical, but more of young college student. Look at this. Back, shoot the duck. Triple Salchow. And now a final combination spin. Well, very nice for Timothy Goebel. Not only are the jumps magnificent, but the program was too. And it phased him into a new sort of element of skating. I think covering up the fact that his style, etc., in the past has not been his strong point, and giving him a canvas on which to perform those wonderful jumps.
Well, he believed he could do it, but just now maybe realizing what he's accomplished here. Carol Heiss-Jenkins, of course, a 5-time world champion, Olympic gold medalist herself, and Timothy Goebel, a history-making performance here in Colorado Springs.
Now take a look at this first quad, a salchow. Now watch that twisting, that really thing, and the landing is so good and clean that he's right back on, reaches back, and is just sensational. Now look at it here from a very low angle, and look at that, just lift right up, clean as a whistle. I mean, what can you say about that? There's a good clean landing outside edge, no cheat on that, not a bit. Not a bit. Right there. He was fully out. Now look at this quadruple toe loop. Here it is again. First step, toe pick, and done. I mean, that's using the toe pick as a real pole vaulting device. And here he does again the single quadruple salchow. I'm getting all tongue-tied because it's so great to see this.
Well, it has never been done before. Timothy Goebel tries 3 quadruple jumps in one program and lands all 3. He's got Dick Button jumping out of his chair over here.
And not to count the fact that there were 7 triples along with it.
First set of marks for technical merit. All the way up to 5.9.
Those are very good marks, and they really reflect the fact that quadruple and triple jumps are the single most important element that is judged in figure skating.
For presentation, Dick, 5.4 up to 5.8. So Timothy Goebel takes the lead in terms of those that have already skated here in the free skate.
And that's a quantum leap step forward for him, improving so much in the presentation and the choreography of his program. That was a big help from Lori Nickel.
Alexei Yagudin, you may think it's been an easy ride for him. After all, he's a 2-time world champion at the age of 19. But he's had to learn some very painful lessons along the way.
Pressure has been one of Alexei Yagudin's few constant companions. The only child of a single-parent home, he's been contributing financially since he was 12. The stress didn't prevent his rise, though, through the ranks of Russian skating to become the #1 male in Europe and the world the past 2 seasons. But soon after his move to the U.S. in April, it became apparent that success had taken its toll.
I was empty, I didn't have any power, and because it was a really tough season, and I just wanted to celebrate a little, like, you know, people doing in the whole world.
For Alexei, drinking was part of the celebration, and the festivities seemed to last into May when he joined the Champions on Ice tour, and rumors started swirling that Alexei's drinking might be a problem.
You know, sometimes people talking about me and they're saying that, well, don't trust him or don't listen to him because he's like a bad guy and he's always drinking.
The situation came to a head on May 27th when Alexei was asked to leave Champions on Ice due to, quote, inappropriate behavior linked to a drinking problem after only 7 performances. He doesn't deny drinking, but the backlash did surprise him, since Yagudin was raised in a culture in which drinking alcohol isn't governed by the same legal or moral codes as those in America.
It was normal for, like, young people to drink in Russia, but here everything is different. For example, in Russia we don't have a drinking age, and just then, you know, I was learning how to live here, but I can't know everything about United States in one day.
While Yagudin has apologized numerous times in the press, the Russian Figure Skating Federation wants to ensure he takes this lesson to heart. After his dismissal from Champions on Ice, the Russian Federation gave Yagudin a 1-year probation. Any further violation of discipline would result in a suspension.
It's probation for the first trouble, and they will disqualify me for the year, but I know that it will never happen again, so I'm okay. It was a tough time, and I know that I did a mistake, but now I'm working for the new season, and I know that that's in the past, and I just need to forget about that.
Our next competitor represents Russia. Let's have a warm welcome, please, for Alexei Yagudin.
Trying to put many of the events of this past year behind him and get off to a great start this season. In first place after the short program, here is 19-year-old Alexei Yagudin of Russia.
And he's skating to the soundtrack from the movie The Broken Arrow, story of revenge. A friend who's been killed and his death has to be avenged. His first triple axel. Superb height on those jumps. Really good height. What he needs to hold himself in first place is this quadruple toe. Popped right out of that one. That's a nightmare that every skater has to face sometimes. He has the opportunity to repeat it later. Here's a second triple axel. Beautiful height on that dead drop. Now that had real spring to it.
As we mentioned earlier, a skater can compete in up to 3 of the Grand Prix events. Only 2 of them count in the standings. And Alexei has determined that this will be a non-scoring event for him.
But the flip side of that is that if he does well here, he denies points to some of the other skaters who may end up being his closest competitors. Triple flip combination first, a triple flip, triple toe loop.
Through this free skate, remember the problems he had with the altitude in the short program.
Well, I think if you notice, I mean, you see that stumble right there. I think you'll notice that he's skating very conservatively and very slowly. He has to be able to conserve his strength. Triple loop jump. Jump. Straight line footwork. Triple south. I think he's exhausted here at this point. That was supposed to have been a flying spin at the end. He substituted a straight spin. You can see he's exhausted here. He can barely move.
May need the oxygen once again.
Oh, listen, I wouldn't doubt it at all. Now, I don't know how the judges will reflect this, reflect the fact that he didn't get all of those quadruples, but on the other hand, Timothy Goebel missed 2 of his first jumps. So that'll be interesting to see how that develops.
And Yagudin was in first place after the short program.
Well, this is the last triple salchow. Now watch how he just goes up and is leaning out and barely, I don't think he has the energy to hold that edge. And right there. You saw he missed that jump into that spin, just flopped over into it, very second rate.
And now the judges' marks for Alexei Yagudin for technical merit.
Anxious moments for the two-time and reigning world champion right now as he sits alongside his coach, Tatiana Tarasova. Now the first set of marks for technical merit, Dick.
Well, they're about the same. You have to examine them very carefully, but I wouldn't be surprised if he was right up there with Timothy Goebel.
5.3 up to 5.8, and now the second set of marks for presentation.
Well, you got some 5.9s in there, and the rest 5.8s and 1 or 2. I think that's going to be very close.
So those are good enough, though, to put Alexei Yagudin in the lead over Timothy Goebel. More to come, though, including the U.S. champion Michael Weiss still to skate, and there is room at the
States now. Please welcome Matthew Savoy.
National Car Rental Skate America continues. Yagudin, Goebel, and Stoico, your top 3 right now, as Matt Savoy takes the ice. The 19-year-old from Peoria, Illinois, in 5th place after the short program, and he was great with that program.
Double axle instead of the planned triple that he'd done, but that gives him opportunity to put in a triple axle later. Triple combination, triple combination, triple flip. Oh! Your heart really goes out for them when they do that. Straight line footwork into a combo spin, and he barely pulled out of that one. Now we come into straight line footwork. Beat of music is very hard to skate to.
But we see more and more skaters using it these days.
Seems as though that's true in this competition.
Yeah. Matthew, by the way, like Timothy Goebel and Michelle Kwan, a college student. He attends Bradley University in Peoria, Illinois. 4.0 average in biology.
difficult entrance into that jump from the back turning edge. Puts extra strength, extra pressure on the jumping leg. Look at that back shoot the depth into that triple Lutz jump. That is powerful. Good position. Good position. A very satisfying performance from him. I think that was nice. I'm sorry he missed the first triple axel,
ladies and gentlemen.
but it wasn't a bad mistake, and I don't think the judges will take off for that.
An impressive free skate for the Americans so far. Timothy Goebel with his 3 quad jumps, first time ever. Matthew Savoy, and remember, Michael Weiss is still to come.
Now look here how he steps into this flip jump. Watch the toe pick. Now watch the landing. Just isn't able to hold that edge, does not check the body, and that's the end of it. Watch here how he skates on this back outside edge, makes a turn, and then steps up into that triple axel. That's tough.
Linda Brannon on the right of your screen. Matt's coach since he was 9 years of age. The first set of marks for technical merit, 5.2 up to 5.4. He was in 5th place after the short program. Would love to finish in the top 5 at least. And now the marks for presentation.
These are very steady marks, and that reflects the program that he did. A steady program with some wonderful moves and elements in it.
Representing the United States.
So here's a look at the top 3 as the final skater takes the ice. Yagudin, Goebel, and Elvis Stoiko. But here is the reigning U.S. champion, Michael Weiss, in 2nd place after the short program, and a golden opportunity to start his season off the right way because there is some room at the top. Alexei Yagudin was anything but perfect here in the free skate.
Michael Weiss skating to Carmen, George Bizet. Desperately needs this quadruple toe loop. That wasn't even a 2-footed landing. He just didn't make it around.
Well, Dickey told us he's had a stress fracture since July that he's just had to deal with, and really has not been able to practice his quad as much as he would like. It's in his left ankle, and very difficult for him to do that.
Look at the entrance to that triple axel. You could see that he was off just by looking at the entering edge into it. You cannot produce a triple axel with that kind of an edge. Skidded right off it. couldn't hold the landing on that. This is going to be disaster for him. He's going to sink, not hold it. I don't think he can stay in the same position.
So Weiss was in second after the short program, but Timothy Goebel, another American, currently in second place. And maybe the fight is for a second place finish here.
Triple axel. Look again how he skids off that edge, and yet he completed that jump. That's sticking it to it. Salchow. Work into a triple Lutz jump. Oh, I can hardly hold it. You know, that just looked like such a tentative entrance to it. I'm glad he was able to pull it off. Spin combination. Well, the door was open, but he didn't have the opportunity to step through it.
Well, you have to wonder if maybe if that stress fracture in his left ankle is more serious than anyone knew. He hasn't really talked about it. There's his father, Greg. Hasn't talked about it at all. And he really struggled tonight like we haven't seen him in a long time. There's Timothy Goebel, who had the 3 quadruple jumps along with his coach, Carol Heiss-Jenkins, in second place right now. And the current leader, Alexei Yagudin, probably knows that place is secure.
Well, I think when you look here that you will see exactly what his problem is. That takeoff edge has nothing to do with the fracture. It just skids off. He's turned before he takes off into the air.
The judges' marks for Michael Weiss for technical merit. 5.3, 5.5, 5.0.
Michael, along with his coach, Andre Wiesiger, and now the disappointing, to be sure, marks. The first set, 5.0 to 5.6.
I'm sorry that he just didn't skate better, but the judges were right on those marks.
And someone higher for presentation, but not high enough. Michael Weiss, who was in second place after the short program, drops all the way down to 4th place. So it's Alexei Yagudin who gets the victory, but will not earn the 12 points towards the Grand Prix total because he designated this as his non-scoring event. Timothy Goebel with the 3 quads and 9 points for second. Elvis Stoico finishes 3rd. Michael Weiss will get 5 points, and then Matthew Savoy finishes 5th, and he will collect 4 points. Right now, Susie Wynn is with Timothy Goebel. Susie?
Thanks, Terry. Timothy, you were the first American skater to ever land a quad, and now you're the first skater ever to land 3 in a free program. What is it like to be a part of skating history?
It's really a thrill. It's just a thrill for me to be here competing against all these great world medalists, Michael Weiss, Elvis, Alexei, Yagudin, and I'm just happy that I came out here. I've been doing the quads in practice, all 3 at home, and it's sort of unreal to me that I actually did them. It's just a great feeling.
Now, you had a little slip in the flip today, the triple flip. Are triples harder for you than the quad?
No, not harder. I think I was focusing maybe a little too much on what was coming instead of what I was doing at the time. It was just kind of a fluke. It happens, and I'm just glad I was able to get it back together.
Well, congratulations.
Thank you very much.
Back to you, Terry.
Well, Susie, a lot of people feel like Goebel actually had the edge over Yagudin tonight. What do you think, Dick?
Well, I think it was clear in the quadruples and the triples that Timothy Goebel was far, far ahead. Even though I'd probably give spins, footwork, and artistry to Alexei Yagudin, the quads and the triples outweighed the whole thing. In my mind, I personally would have given it to Tim Goebel.
Everybody, flipping burgers later on. Get the hairnet ready. Actually, it is Halloween, and we always dress for the occasion here. Peggy Fleming as the devil going trick-or-treating, and Dick Button, for the first time in his life, can be called an angel. Never happened before. Happy Halloween, everybody. All right, so we get back to business here. Things get serious once again. And Michelle Kwan, what should we look for tonight, Peggy?
Well, her triple toe combination, it's something she has to have in her program these days to remain competitive. And her double axel, it's become kind of a troublesome jump for her lately, so we'll have to watch for that. And also what she's made a dramatic improvement in is her layback spin. Beautiful position these days. And of course, her choreography is always wonderful to watch.
And right behind her in second place after the short program, Sarah Hughes.
Well, her opening jump is a double axel triple toe combination. It's a very big airy jump, and her layback spin is probably the most beautiful of any of the girls that are here today. And also her triple loop combination is the most difficult of the combinations to be attempted here. And also her triple lutz, that change of edge that she does, it's been criticized that she is doing a flutz.
Ladies, you have 1 minute remaining in this one.
And Peggy, as we take a look at the standings after the short program, Sarah Hughes finds herself in second place, right behind Michelle Kwan. That's quite a battle between the 2 Americans at the top. The 2 Russian teenagers, Sokolova, Soldatova, in 3rd and 4th, and another American rounding out the top 5, Angela Nikodinov.
Representing the United States, here is Angela Nikodinov.
And the first to take the ice here in the ladies' free skate, the 19-year-old from San Pedro, California, Angela Nikodinov, the bronze medalist from last season's U.S. National Championships.
Now she'll be skating to music from the motion picture The Mummy.
And this is a new program for her, choreographed by Leanne Miller. And Angela has worked on her style a lot this season, and this is what she wants to emphasize more, is the choreography and her presentation.
She is in 5th place after the short program.
She is opening with a triple lutz, double toe combination. Very nice. It had wonderful speed over the ice.
She's a very strong technician. Her jumps are solid. Her edges are very secure. Look at the toe pick there. That just flipped to the side, didn't support her, and it was doubled.
You may remember a few weeks before the '99 Worlds, she started to work with Richard Callahan. Since then, she and her mother have moved from California to Troy, Michigan. Her father stayed behind.
Look at that layback. Absolutely exquisite. Beautiful leg position. It's getting so there's no bad laybacks around anymore. Nothing to complain about.
Pure pressure always works. coming up is a triple Salchow. Oh, she opened up on that too.
Released her tension on several moves in the short program, as she has done here, and she cannot do that if she's going to hope to be able to pull up. Look right there, she flipped off the edge again, didn't utilize the edge, and only was able to do a double.
Well, she doesn't look like she's really attacking each and every jump. I do see an improvement in her presentation. She's extending her line a little more than she did last season, but there's still room for improvement. She needs to feel that music and use every note.
There she, you know, that was supposed to have been a Lutz. She changed it to a
toe loop
and only did a double. This kind of competitiveness is not going to stand her in very good stead.
Well, it's not the character of Angela that we have known in the past. Usually she really comes through when it comes to competition.
You know, I seriously believe that the altitude here has affected her a tremendous amount. I've never seen her this exhausted at the end of a program.
In fifth after the short program, but not the performance that Angela Nikodinov had hoped for to start this season.
But there's one thing she does that is just brilliant, and that is this layback spin. Now watch her turn out her free leg. The free leg is beautifully stated behind her. The back is simply exquisite, and the arms are wonderful. That's nice.
As you look at Angela and her coach, Richard Callahan, earlier this week, the Professional Skaters Association, after a review of a grievance filed against Richard, found no violation of ethics or standards, and they now consider the matter closed. Now the first set of marks for technical merit, 4.4 to 5.1.
Wow, you see, that's way out of line. I mean, this is a world-class skater, and for her to get those kind of marks is very unfortunate.
And for presentation, 4.6 to 5.3 for Angela Nikodinov.
Well, there's no point in commenting on that.
Now, Julia Soldatova.
So the ladies free skate continues now with the world bronze medalist, 18 years of age, from Moscow. Here is Yulia Soldatova. She is in fourth place after the short program.
And Yulia trains alongside the 1999 world champion Maria Budurskaya. But I think Yulia's performance is a little warmer than Maria's, but not quite as polished. But she's quite lovely to watch. And this opening is really pretty choreography, very gentle. And she is opening with a very tough triple-triple combination, triple Salchow, triple toe. Double toe.
But wasn't the triple Salchow really very clean and neat? how crossed under that back toe pick was. I'm surprised that she had such a good one despite it.
She was very determined to land that jump. And this is a wonderful back edge position.
In a way, she's very pretty to watch. I just wish she wouldn't throw away all those arm movements.
There's a lot of flipping of the wrists in her choreography.
Mediocre position.
You can see the leg position and the foot hanging down. Should be lifted up.
Fourth place after the short program. Last season's bronze medalist from the World Championships, silver medalist from Europeans, Yulia Soldatova of Russia.
And this is her triple Lutz double toe combination. Watch her reach back. A little unsure of that takeoff with the toe pick, a little, you know, on the side, but she did get up in the air and did complete it. Here is that toe pick, how it slid off. It was like going off to the side, not a straight back pole vault to really jar it in there, very solid, but she pulled it off. It was very determined on her part to land that.
It may be difficult for Yulia even to get back to Worlds this year. The Russian nationals, again, will be extremely competitive, including, of course, Maria Butirskaya. The first set of marks here, 5.4 to 5.7.
I just think she needs a little more tension in her skating. There's an awful lot of flailing of arm movements around, which kind of, I think, with, you know, takes away from her overall picture.
5.3 to 5.7 for presentation for Yulia Soldatova.
Representing the United States, let's welcome Sarah Hughes.
Back inside the World Arena, Terry Gannon, Peggy Fleming, Dick Button, and Susie Wynn. The ladies' free skate continues with the 14-year-old from Great Neck, New York, who finished 7th at the World Championships in her first trip last season. In second place, right behind Michelle Kwan after the short program. Here is Sarah Hughes.
She's skating to Nessun Dorma and other selections from the Opera Turandot. Incidentally, she just saw that opera in Vienna at a competition just recently.
And I can sense that Sarah's just beginning to light up inside, and I think, you know, that's what's so exciting for all of us to watch, is this young development. Now watch her opening combination jump, this double axel, triple toe combination. She has wonderful speed over the ice.
Well, that's the baptism of fire.
Well,
you don't get through these competitions without having something like that happen.
she looks very nervous to me.
Triple Lutz.
There's a lightness to her skating, and I love the long line that she creates. It's a beautiful, effortless look, like floating over the ice.
Toe jumps because of the way she raises her free leg before she taps it into the ice. She gets to use that free leg like a pole vault. You can't play around with a long pole. And she can't play around with a long stretched leg leading into that jump.
Triple loop combination she does have planned, but I think she'll probably just do one triple loop. Yes. Played it safe, and it was real solid. Very nice.
And again, she is absolutely brilliant in this layback. This is probably the funnest one I've ever seen, or seen in a long time. Watch this triple Lutz. Look at the edge right there. See, again, it turns from an outside to an inside edge. That doesn't set her in good position. And again, she's having trouble with these toe jumps. These are problems that she's had for a while. Unless they're corrected, they will come back to haunt her.
She has planned is a triple sow cow back inside edge, right there. Oh.
And she hasn't been on the scene that long for us to compare, but that's an unusual program from Sarah Hughes. We've watched her since the World Championships. She just seemed to get better and better, but not tonight.
Well, this is a tough lesson tonight.
It's a perfectly standard lesson. Everybody goes through it. They have to have a championship when they're growing up that they really blow.
And this was her first jump she did, the double axel, and just was way out of line. She didn't turn very quickly in the air and unfortunately fell right at the beginning. You can see her, she got good height, but her legs were tangled up. She didn't have an open for the landing.
5.4.
Sarah and her coach, Robin Wagner, they are extremely close. There is no Hughes entourage or camp. Remember, she was in second place, hoping to put pressure on Michelle Kwan. For technical merit, 5.0 to 5.4.
Well, those first 3 marks were very generous. She really made a large number of mistakes.
And the presentation marks now a little bit higher, and Sarah Hughes in second place. That's where she was after the short program. Since the age of 12, Michelle Kwan has lived and performed under a microscope. Her life has been anything but normal. Now at 19 and a college student at UCLA, she's trying to get a little piece of life back.
She was just 19 years old when she left her home.
I always like to stress myself out. I could just relax, you know, maybe take this year off, go to school, have fun, but no, I have to do everything. I wish there were like 600 hours to a day, you know, so I can fit everything in. Sometimes it's so easy just to want to scream, you know, just go out there and go, ah, I can't handle this. But realize, you know, this is what I committed myself to doing. There's certainly a lot of distractions, especially when you're in the big city. You're going to school, you have homework, you've got so many things on your mind. Somehow, I'm going to have to step into the ice rink and forget everything and just remember what I have to do on the ice. But I just hope I have enough energy to go all the way in both skating and school. Well, I've got different opinions from different people. Some of them were like, in a few years, she won't be able to skate, and you know, school can wait, skating can't. I think that's true. Skating can't wait. But also what I expect from school can't wait. I think right now is the perfect time because I'm not too old to be in the dorms, and I want the whole college experience. You know, I've had tutors since 8th grade, and it's just, I haven't had the social life. You know, I'm so used to just being in my little cubby hole up in the mountains, you know, away from everybody.
LA woman.
Just look.
LA woman.
This is like 10 minutes from my school. I'm looking forward to just meeting a lot of different kind of people, going to basketball games and football games, party a little bit. I guess be one of the kids on campus and just sort of go into another world out of skating. The worst thing is to regret. You know, I don't want to be 25 and be like, oh, I wish I went. But right now, I'm not going to have any regrets because I went at it, I tried.
From the United States, here is Michelle Kwan.
Much different life and new challenges now for Michelle Kwan as she takes the ice. Soldatova, Hughes, Nikodinov, the top 3. But here is the 2-time world champion and the leader after the short program.
And she'll be skating to music from the motion picture The Red Violin, John Corigliano.
Double axel. Now her combination triple Lutz double toe.
Beautiful outside edge coming out of her triple Lutz jump. Nice and straight and perfectly rounded. But she
Next
needs
element. This triple toe combination, very important.
Wonderful speed over the ice. That was absolutely exquisite. Great speed, great tight revolutions. That's one of the best jumping displays that I've seen her do. Triple Salchow. how limited her arm movements are. There's not a lot of superfluous, unnecessary movement in her choreography. Problem there was reaching back. She didn't get the height.
Michelle likes to skate to music that no one else has skated to. This music has a lot of moods in it and lots of highs and lows. It's a wonderful piece of music. Really grabs the audience attention.
Flows from one movement into another very beautifully.
And this is her improved layback spin, much better leg position. Doesn't seem to have bothered her. She looks like she's full of energy, completing a triple Lutz at the end of this 4-minute program. This is a Charlotte. In practice, she's been doing it from the toe. This was wonderful.
She is such a complete skater. She always takes command of the ice. The edges are solid and secure, and even when she makes a mistake, it's still okay.
And her programs are always so complete, down to every hand movement, head movement. It's a complete program.
Sarah Hughes watching on the monitor backstage, watching her idol, still very much awestruck, even though she's competed against her. The debut of this season's competitive free skate from Michelle Kwan.
But look at this triple combination. First, she turns, steps on the outside edge, does a triple toe loop, and now another one. And good height, good turn, good speed. That was a wonderful combination. But here, she ran into much greater difficulty. Look at how she steps back and toe picks right here. You see how the foot was on the side. She was leaning. The foot was again on the side when she landed, and disaster struck.
Well, she's always had remarkable perspective on her skating in life. Earlier this week, she said, life is not a triple Lutz. First set of marks now. 5.7 to 5.9, along with her coach, Frank Carroll there, Dick.
And those are exactly right. The marks reflected the fact that she made a mistake and that yet she was very good and very solidly done it across the board like these are.
And up to a perfect 6. 5.8 to a perfect 6 for Michelle Kwan for presentation.
It seems like she's not going to get by any championship without one of those 6s stuck in there.
She's got her own placard. She's got the 6.0 right with her. We'll come back third. And there's Sarah Hughes backstage. Smile on her face, though, talking to Michelle Kwan, who for the 4th time has won the Skate America title. In 95, 96, and 97, she won. Did not skate in the Grand Prix Series a year ago. And with the win, Michelle Kwan earns 12 Grand Prix points. We'll see her at Skate Canada as well. Yulia Soldatova of Russia finishes 2nd, just ahead of Sokolova of Russia. Sarah Hughes with a 4th place finish earns 5 Grand Prix points. Right now, Susie Wynn has been joined by the 2 American skaters, Michelle Kwan and Sarah Hughes. Susie?
Thank you, Terry. Now I am backstage with 2 freshmen, UCLA freshman Michelle Kwan and high school freshman Sarah Hughes. Now, Michelle, let's see. Tell us about this triple-triple. When was the last time you did this?
The last time I did the triple-triple was in nationals, and this competition coming in, I was like, I'm determined to do this triple-triple, and when I nailed it, I was like, yes! Then I thought, oh no, I still have so much to do, so I stayed focused, and I was pretty happy with my performance.
It doesn't seem as though school has interfered at all with your progress as a skater.
Well, I think it's nice having school in my life. It sort of gets me away from skating for a little while so I can concentrate on something else and distract me for a little while so then I'm not focused on skating too much.
Now, Sarah, last year you were criticized for some of the artistry in your program, the lack of it. And this year it's obvious that you've improved tremendously. What have you been doing? Tell me about it.
Well, Robin and I have been working a lot in front of the mirror and on the ice, on my in-betweens and paying attention to detail.
Well, congratulations to you both. Back to you, Terry. Thank you.
Answers take the ice at the premier international event of the season, held in the United States. Hi, everyone. I'm Terry Gannon. With the Grand Prix of Skating getting underway here in Colorado Springs, it marks the beginning of a season-long series of 6 competitions held on 3 different continents. The best Olympic-eligible skaters in the world allowed to compete in up to 3 of those events, earning points in 2 of those. When the series is completed, the top skaters will move on to the Grand Prix final in Lyon, France. And it all gets underway right here in Colorado Springs. We welcome in Olympic champion Peggy Fleming right now. Peggy, will see ice dancing a little bit later, but a major upset brewing in pairs because Yelena Berezhnaya and Anton Sikorodlidze have had all kinds of problems so far.
Well, they sure have. The reigning world champions missed 2 key elements in the short program, landing them in a disastrous 4th place. They just seemed unable to lock into their program, and they skated kind of like deer in the headlights. Elena and Anton are the best team here, with breathtaking lifts, speed, and unmatched elegance. But to win this title today, they'll have to answer the nagging questions of mental toughness, and they'll have to skate like world champions.
And in 4th place, they'll need some help. Speaking of help, we turn right now to 2-time Olympic champion Mr. Dick Button. It is not Berezhnaya and Sikorodlidze has been the talk of this championship. It's the Canadian pair, Jamie Salé and David Peltier.
Well, you know, they're a relatively new, very attractive, well-matched Canadian pair. They've had a very short competitive career together with the usual injuries and false starts. But this year, something kind of wonderful happened. It's like the light went on at the end of the tunnel, and they suddenly began to understand what skating was all about. Sure, the lifts and the jumps are still developing, but what they suddenly showed was a sense of style, of flow, of drama, of 2 people skating as one and understanding the music that they were skating to. And these are exactly the qualities that you need to be a world or Olympic champion.
Here's a look at the standings after the pair's short program. Jamie Salé, David Peltier of Canada, surprisingly in the lead right now over Schwarzenmuller of Germany, then Abby Paul and Bernadise of France. Berezhnaya, Sikorodlidze do not control their own destiny in 4th. Then 2 American pairs, Ina and Zimmerman, and the Hartzels in 5th and 6th.
And Steve Hartzell.
And here is the other American pair getting this free skate underway. In fact, they're the reigning U.S. national champions, the brother-sister team of Danielle and Steve Hartzell, currently in 6th place.
And they're skating to Malagueña. And their costumes were designed by Yuka Sato. She was world champion 1994. And she's the wife of Jason Dungeon, one of their coaches.
The important thing about the costumes is that they are infinitely improved and giving them a much better line and look than they have in the previous years. One of the required moves in both the short and the long program is this split triple twist. But the most dangerous element for all the pair skaters are the side-by-side triple jumps. These are theirs, triple toe loops.
Very nice. She fell on that in the short program. triple Salchow, that back inside edge takeoff. Very nice.
They've really made a quantum leap forward this year. They've gotten much more aware of their positions, their style. They're no longer the clunky, undone little pair skaters that they were. Now they're rather very much more stylish, understanding of what skating is all about.
And I think also the package of choosing the right music, the right choreography, and the right costume really help a lot. And gaining that national title gave them a lot of confidence.
Danielle mentioned to us earlier this week that she does have a sprained wrist.
She singled that double axel. He did the double.
The wrist, of course, does not bother them on their jumps, but some of the lifts. Since we saw them last year, they've moved out of their parents' home, share an apartment in Rochester Hills, Michigan, about 15 minutes away from their training site.
But look at the smile and the little wiggle on her. I think that's something that we would not have seen in her skating a year ago. Alan Schramm, Natasha House have done their choreography. That didn't help.
Again, these side-by-side double axels, and they both did singles. But they did it in unison.
And of course, that's one of the major elements of skating, is that two skaters must skate as one, whether they are skating in mirror skating or asymmetrically or in parallel style of skating.
Their heart attack lift, an invention that they came up with. Look at this position. Very
She just slipped off that edge. Shades of the Kaufmans in the 60s. My gosh, when these death spirals go down, it's an impossible place to pull yourself up out of it. What happened there was she got over too far under the edge of her boot, the blade slipped out, and she lost her edge. And of course, that brought him down too. This has been a disastrous performance for this couple after that brilliant performance at the National Championship last year. Now watch here as he skates on a back outside edge. If he gets over too far, he'll hit. But she is the one this time, and I've never seen that happen before, where the girl goes down. Usually it's the guy misses. Oh, I don't know how to stop that, because she has got to be over. And unless she bounces that angle,
Well, the judges may not look kindly on that performance, but while we have a moment, let's look at some of the things the judges are looking for here in the pairs free skate. The unison of the skaters, the quality of the lifts and the spins, and then the height and distance of the throw jumps. Well, the Hartzels will skate in 3 Grand Prix events this season. This is a non-scoring event for them. They have declared it as such. Remember, only 2 of the events actually counted the standings. Maybe fortunate. The first set of marks for technical merit, 4.8 to 5.2.
But, you know, everybody's entitled to one really bad performance in the season, and this, I trust, is theirs. I mean, the thing that you didn't mention was their side-by-side jumps, and those are the things that they did so badly this time, as well as the death spiral.
First effort of the season for the Hartzels.
Also from the United States, please welcome now Kyoko Ina and John Zimmerman.
And now the American pair in their second season together. They feel like they're getting better and better. In 5th place after the short program, Kyoko Ina and John Zimmerman.
Music, Phantom of the Opera, Andrew Lloyd Webber.
Has a lot of good tension and wonderful flow over the ice with the strength of their skating together. And they are opening the program with side-by-side triple toe loops. He touched down.
Triple twist. Nice one.
And then right into a throw triple Salchow. Very solid, real smooth, good speed on the landing.
Side double axles. Oh, did you notice how his edge went off right at the beginning? He just was out of the line of the circle, and that caused him to miss that.
Kyoko and John wanted to send their best wishes to Paul Binnebose, the U.S. bronze medalist in pairs from a year ago with Laura Handy, who was seriously injured, fractured skull in practice a month ago, and recovering, and we certainly send our best to him and his family as well.
The unison there was just not up to par. But one thing has happened this year, and that is that they're finally beginning to look really like a pair. They've had troubles because his style and hers did not match. Now they are developing just beautifully.
Well, their timing is much more similar.
This spread eagle into this throw triple loop. That really was an interesting combination.
It was rather slow going into the takeoff of that throw jump. Usually they gather lots of speed for a takeoff, but it was incorporated into that choreography.
Nice line. that death spiral. You can see a little hesitation at the end, as though they're not quite, as though they're a pair almost 3/4 of the way through, and then it kind of pulls back just a little bit. The unison sort of fell apart right at the very end, but what an improvement for them.
With their goals this year to win the U.S. title and improve on their 9th place finish at the World Championships, this their first effort of the new season. Kyoko Ina and John Zimmerman.
And this is a look at their throw, triple Salchow, that back inside edge takeoff, nice and straight in the air, very solid, good strong position on the landing, and that flow of speed in and out. That's important. That's what the judges are looking at. And these were their side-by-side double axels, where he had trouble on this takeoff and was not spinning straight in the air, and he broke out of it.
Like the Hartzels, this is a designated non-scoring event for Kyoko and John. They decided that, so we'll see them twice more in the Grand Prix Series. Their points today will not count. The first set of marks for technical merit, 5.1 to 5.4. As they sit alongside Igor Moskvin, the husband of Tamara Moskvina, their Russian coach. And now for presentation, 5.1 to 5.6 for Ina and Zimmerman. Well, the world champions have some work to do. Anton Sikaridlidze, his partner Yelena Berezhnaya. Conventional wisdom says she's the tiny, quiet one. Don't always believe it.
She is a contradiction in terms, a China doll with an iron will. Light as a feather, yet solid as a rock. Yelena Berezhnaya is a bit of an enigma.
She's very much concealed, and maybe her life that she had before, it taught her to be closed in her character.
Until recently, Berezhnaya was perhaps best known for a freak skating accident. Hit in the head by her former partner's skate blade, she was left temporarily paralyzed and speechless. An Olympic silver medal in '98 and 2 world championships changed all of that. Now she is living in the U.S. and discovering herself all over again.
I miss my mom and my family so much, but it's okay. I have many friends here, many things to do, and I don't really miss Russia, you know.
Living in her own apartment in New Jersey, Yelena has found the time and the space to cultivate a life away from skating and away from her partner Anton.
We spend a lot of time together, practice. You need a rest, just for yourself, rest from everybody, from coaches, you know, and Tom too.
Endless hours together have allowed Yelena and Anton to develop a remarkable unison on the ice. But they are unique individuals who recognize each other's gifts.
She's a very strong person. And but the other side, she's lady, real lady.
She's now a lady who possesses a mean drop kick. In order to further escape the pressures of skating and to just have fun, Yelena has taken up karate.
Here you're free. You can do whatever you want. I never think I will do karate. But now it's so easy.
She wants to achieve. She wants to be strong, and all her life shows that.
Competing on behalf of Russia, let's welcome now Yelena Berezhnaya and Anton Sikaridlidze.
So much has changed since Yelena and Anton left Russia to come live and train in the United States, and now they're trying to come from behind in 4th place after the short program. The 2-time and reigning world champions have to win the free skate and then get help from another pair.
Their music, Sentimental Waltz, Tchaikovsky, and it reflects a very great swing to classical and sentimental music.
They are are by far the most elegant and accomplished pair here, but they have their work cut out for them here in this long program.
Well, if you noticed right at the start there, her foot slipped off his skate, and I hope that's not indicative of insecurity in the rest of the program.
They are opening with side-by-side triple toes. Oh, he hesitated on that landing.
But it was still a complete combination, a complete side-by-side move.
But their elegant line is just superb.
Split, triple twist.
It's almost a delay.
It's a combination of double axel.
And he singled it, she did the double, and they both did double toes.
Those are going to hurt them.
And a further point to remember as this program goes along, we are over a mile high in altitude, and that certainly has had an effect on some of the skaters.
But watch the revolution in the air right here. Look at how tight, how fast, and how perfect the position is there. That is extraordinary.
They, in practice, are working on a quad throw salchow, and they were practicing here this week. So they may attempt to do it sometime this year, and that'll be a first.
Unable to hold that landing edge, landing almost on a back inside edge, which forced her position over.
But in the air, she is so pretty. She spins so quickly.
I love that drop out into that low position. Very elegant. Suffer that kind of fault.
With this talent, is it a lack of concentration?
I think everybody has the right to get off key once in a while. Maybe they knew that this was not there. See, he's struggling here.
And they've really gotten out of sync. They've lost that focus.
They missed that lift. The lift that was planned there. You know, this pair has really had an either do it or unable to do it kind of approach to skating in the last year or so. They've either messed up completely or done beautiful jobs. I don't think I've ever seen pairs fall apart quite the way they have. Pairs in their position in this sport. Now look at this throw triple salchow. Watch how he lifts her up in the air, and watch her in the air. Straight, clean, tight, beautiful legs. I mean, you can't do better than that. It was just so elegant. And on this loop, exactly the opposite happened. Gorgeous entry, but unable to hold it. She's leaning out, and it just sad.
And Anton Ziegler-Lidze for technical merit. 5.5, 5.6, 5.4,
Their coach, of course, Tamara Moskvina, can't be pleased with that performance. Now the first set of marks. For technical merit, 5.4 to 5.7.
Well, those are very strong marks for the number of mistakes that they made, which are really reflected in technical merit.
And 5.6 to 5.8 for presentation. So right now, Berezhnaya and Ziegler-Lidze in the lead in terms of those that have skated. Maybe tough for them to hold the lead, though. Well, up next,
presenting the next pair team, representing France, let's welcome now Sarah Abitbol and Stéphane Bernardiz.
For Sarah Abitbol and Stéphane Bernardiz of France in third place, with a great chance of winning here in Colorado Springs. It would be a major victory. They finished 6th in Skate America a year ago, 6th at the Olympics last season, 5th in the world.
And these costumes signal the fact that the music is the angel and the devil.
And this is original music by Maxim Rodriguez. They've seemed very determined all week in practice and very consistent all week. And this number, I think, truly showcases their style and their energy. Nicely done, side-by-side triple toe loops. They both look very determined.
I mean, these jumps are just not perfectly done, but they're pulling them off and they're saving them and salvaging them. And that's part of the mark of being a champion, of being able to pull it out when you're in trouble.
Now coming up is their throw double axel, very big, very airy.
That one was nice. They look infinitely more put together this year. They're less rough skaters. They're better pair skaters. And suddenly their choreography has a point of view and a focus to it.
Their greatest accomplishment so far, perhaps their 3 bronze medals at the European Championships. Their first in 1996, and when they did that, they became the first French pair to medal in that event since the 30s.
Nice throw, triple loop. Little hesitation on that landing, but it was beautifully done. Good height.
Line footwork. This is good.
Very much in character of this music.
interesting descent into a death spiral slide.
Good for them. They can feel very proud. That was a great performance for them.
The 6-time French national champions, they live and train in Paris, and they have just taken the lead here in Colorado Springs. Sarah Abitbol and Stefan Bernadette.
It was a very steady performance. It wasn't grand, it wasn't brilliant, but it was clean. And look at this throw double axel, where he lifts her into the air. She has very nice turns, and it is not a triple, but it is a very well done one and very nicely consistent. And here at the end of their performance, the death spiral, it's a back outside spreadigal going into this position.
And now judges marks for Sarah Abitbol and Stefan Bernadette for technical merit. 5.7.
So now the marks for Abitbol and Bernadette as they try to overtake the reigning world champions. 5.4 to 5.7 for technical merit.
5.4.
And that was a recognition of the fact that they did everything and completed everything. It wasn't outstanding, but it was very competent.
Presentation 5.5 to 5.8. Not every judge put them in first place, but that is enough. Abitbol and Bernadette take the lead. And up next,
Here representing Germany, let's welcome now Peggy Schwartz and Mirko Müller.
welcome back inside the World Arena in Colorado Springs. The pairs competition continues. Abitbol and Bernadette in the lead over Berezhnaya and Sikaridlidze, then Ina and Zimmerman of the U.S. And here are Peggy Schwartz and Mirko Müller of Germany in second place after the short program.
The music from Patch Adams.
Is very stylized and a bit hard-edged, but this number is a real departure for them, and it's real refreshing. Side triple toes.
Wasn't that pleasant?
I think all these pair teams hold their breath till they get that out of the way.
Oh, just very easy and nice. I must say I found this pair exceedingly attractive. The style of this number, the warmness of it is very appealing.
Attempting a throw triple toe loop. She only did 2 turns in the air and opened out.
Now watch here the way she goes into this position and howls out. did some side-by-side spins that were the most beautiful I've ever seen. This was one of them.
Nice positions.
The unison not quite as perfect as it was in practice. I found that they acted this number and believed it when they were skating it. It was a very warm interpretation. I really must say I admire their choice of music here and the choice of the concept of the program.
Certainly no rookies. They were the bronze medalists at the World Championships in '98, but the fall may have cost them this title in this competition.
Now look at this throw jump as he lifts her right here up. And here, did you notice how the leaning was right into the circle? I mean, that was very, very good. But here, there was a problem. She steps up in this toe loop and opens up. The feet are too wide at the end. She just opens up in the middle of the air, and of course, that spells disaster.
Schwartz and Mirko Mueller for technical merit. 5.4.
So we'll see now how costly the mistake was. The first set of marks for technical merit in the 5.4 to 5.7 range.
Well, I must say I don't think those marks were any too generous for them. I think they certainly had some elegant moves in this.
Actually 5.3, a lower mark from the French judge, up to 5.7. Now for presentation, 5.5 up to 5.8. So Schwartz and Mueller in third place in terms of those that have skated. Well, taking the ice next,
presenting Canada. How about a warm welcome now for Jamie Sally and David Paultier.
The pairs competition continues. Terry Gannon, Dick Button, Peggy Fleming, and Susie Wynn in the final skaters taking the ice. Right now, Abby Boland, Bernadise in the lead over Berezhnaya and Sigrid Lidza, then Schwartz and Mueller of Germany in third. But here are Jamie Salé and David Peltier of Canada with the lead after the short program. It would be a monumental upset.
And they're skating to the music from the motion picture Love Story. Nice beginning. Very calm, very confident, side-by-side triple toes.
Seemed to float. Nice, very simple little twist, lift out. Very, very confident.
And the choreography in this program was done by Laurie Nickel, who does the choreography for Michelle Kwan. I think it's very effective.
It's very romantic and sensitive. And they carry out, they continue the theme of the story right through the program.
It's simple choreography, but very effective. Very nice throw, triple Salchow.
What huge progress they have made this year. Side-by-side double axels.
Nicely done. Into double toe loops.
Dick mentioned some of the problems they had last year. They've only been together some 15 months. A back injury for David kept them out of the World Championships.
Beautiful positions in the air on those lifts. Good pointed toe, nice extension. a minor mistake in this very nicely choreographed and paced program. This is a wonderful move where he does an inside spread eagle into this death spiral. Very inventive and difficult.
The best thing about it is it interprets the story.
Their conditioning has not been a problem. They were the one pair to arrive in Colorado Springs a week and a half early to get used to the altitude.
That's real smart to do. Beautiful throw, triple loop. Look at her nice feet in the air. Nice, neat together, pointed toes. That was wonderful. What a rapport they have with each other and the audience. And skated so great.
They're both overwhelmed right now.
Well, I'll tell you something. I'm a sucker for sentimental romanticism, and I just love this number. I don't care how corny the movie became during the course of its life, but I just love seeing it again, and I love their performance to it. Very sensitive, very wonderful quality. Really nice.
Standing ovation here in the World Arena.
And so much did they deserve this. Really nice. Really nice.
And this is their throw, triple salchow that they did earlier in the program. This back inside takeoff. Very nice, neat in the air, very easily done. And now their throw, triple loop. This is a back outside takeoff where he throws her up in the air. Good lift and good control. And they made it look so much part of the program. That's what made them so effective.
As he left the ice, David Peltier said, "Thank you, Ryan O'Neal." How about Ellie McGraw? No mention of her. First set of marks. Wow, 5.7s and 5.8s. Clearly the best we've seen.
Well, they were really marvelous. I think they moved you too because of their addition, you know, their concentration, their emotional input was just smashing. I must say, I had a wonderful time watching it.
The presentation marks, 5.8s, 5.9s. You're looking at the champions of National Car Rental Skate America. Their first competition in the United States. And Jamie Salé and David Peltier start the season off in grand fashion. So Salé and Peltier of Canada received 12 Grand Prix points. Abby Boll and Bernadise with their second place finish, they'll receive 9. Berejnaya and Sika Redlica surprisingly finish in third ahead of Schwartz and Mueller. Ina and Zimmerman don't receive any points because, as we said, this is a designated non-scoring event for them. We'll see them twice more in the Grand Prix this season. Danielle and Steve Hartzell of the U.S., they finish 8th. Right now, Susie Wynn is with the winners. Susie?
Thanks, Terry. David, Jamie, beautiful. Last year you were unable to compete because of the back injury. You missed Worlds. Looks like you're making up for lost time. How did this win? What does it mean to you?
It means a lot. After being injured last year, I think we just focus on becoming a better team because better teams are the one that can get through anything, right? So Jamie was very supportive, as my coach were too, and we just became stronger after the injury as a team. and I think it showed on the ice today.
Definitely did. Now this rapport, this special rapport that you have, is it something that comes naturally, or is it something that you work on every day?
I think it comes quite naturally. When we first started skating, our coach, he knew like basically the only thing that we really need to work on was our communication and polish and speed. But the chemistry that we have and the way we skate is, I mean, it's amazing. I've never thought I would find this match, but.
Well, you've got it. You've got it, and the audience loved it, so thank you so much for a great performance.
Thank you. You're welcome. Competition.
Terry, back to you.
All right, Susie, thank you. Dick, let's take a look at who had the edge between the two top pairs.
Well, you know, I'd give a check mark to both pairs through lifts, through spins, through side-by-side jumps, and through throw jumps. But I'll tell you the answer. It all falls in artistry. And in that case, Salé and Pelletier had it a mile.
Welcome back, everyone, to the World Arena in Colorado Springs. Terry Gannon, along with two-time U.S. ice dancing champion Susie Wynn, were getting set for the free dance. Earlier this week, the reigning world champions, Krylov and Ovsyannikov, were forced to withdraw from this competition because of Angelika's bad back, and that opened the door for their countrymen, Lobacheva and Averbuk, to be in first place right now after the short programs. But there's been an American movement as well, Susie, a strong American movement here.
Absolutely. Not only do we have the U.S. senior national dance champions, Naomi Lang and Peter Chernychev, but we also have the U.S. junior national ice dance champions, the young team of Jamie Silverstein and Justin Pekarek. Now, this year, Lang and Chernychev in their first Worlds placed 10th. This is very impressive considering that ice dancing is so hard to break into with it being dominated by all the Russians and the European dancers. They're making great strides here. They're in third place ahead of the German team, who is 7th in the world. If they skate well and hold their position, they could really create a great momentum going into the Worlds. But the bright light on the dance horizon is the young team, Jamie and Justin. She's 15, he's just 18. They're excellent, they're composed, and here's some things to look for. They have great Russian influence. They're coached by Igor Spilband. Their unison and their extensions are hard to beat. Fresh energy in their approach, and they are definitely the bright future of ice dancing.
Let's take a look at the standings now after the original dance. The Russians, Lobacheva and Averbuk in the lead, ahead of the Italians, Frusupoli and Morgalio. Great spot for the Americans. Lang and Chernychev in third, ahead of Winkler and Losa of Germany. And the other up-and-comers from the United States, Silverstein and Pekarek in fifth right now.
Competing first, representing the United States, please welcome Jamie Silverstein and Justin Pekarek.
So here is the ice dance team that many say may have more promise, more potential than, well, maybe any other U.S. ice dance team that we have seen. Jamie Silverstein, Justin Pekarek, currently in fifth place.
They may be young, but their work ethic is very mature. Year, the ISU Dance Committee came up with a set of required elements so that the free dance would be easier to judge, be easier to choreograph, and make it more of a sport. There are 5 to 7 lifts that are allowed, and that was the first of 5. Because they are not just continuing in one direction. There's a change of direction, a change of curve that takes a lot of control. Here they're entering into their circular footwork pattern. And you notice how difficult the holds are. They're entwined, they're almost tangled. The turns in between are called twizzles. It's a turn on one foot, and both of them have mastered the art of twizzling.
Silverstein, 15 years of age, from Pittsburgh. Justin Pekarek, 18 years old, originally from Southfield, Michigan. They train in Bloomfield Hills, Michigan, the reigning junior world champions.
They work so well together. They're skating, that they really feel the movement. They're letting the music sort of take them away.
There's been so much talk about them this week and really over the course of the last season. Their first season on the senior level. Last year they swept the junior events, the Junior Nationals, Junior Worlds, and the Junior Grand Prix final. But with potential, of course, comes pressure.
They seem to be handling it well. I know that they're probably nervous, but they seem unfazed by the level of the competition and the competitors in it. Now this year, ice dancing, they're allowing a vocal music. So the skaters have had a blast, just experimenting with new movement, new sound. That was an excellent first time out of the gate, I would say, Terry.
Well, you said that skaters have had a blast with the vocals and the music this year. This is an ice dance team that seems to have had a blast all week here in Colorado Springs.
They absolutely have. They've welcomed this opportunity.
In 5th place after the original dance, Jamie Silverstein and Justin Pekarik of the U.S.
And this is just a sample of their great control, their great timing. Nice, soft, delicate lift. He's very strong. She's very flexible. Nice, expressive lift.
While we have a moment, a quick look at the judges who will decide the fate of these skaters and some of the things that the judges look for here in the free dance. How well the skaters perform the required elements, their unison on the ice, their speed across the ice, and their closeness and difficulty of positions.
The judges' marks for Jamie Silverstein and Justin Pekarik for technical merit.
The Russian influence you talked about, Susie. Igor Spielbaum back right. British influence from Liz Coates back left. Now the first of 2 sets of marks. 5.0 to 5.2.
Well, it's an excellent program. It lacks some of the speed and some of the ice coverage, but that's due to their age, and once they get stronger, they'll certainly fix that.
And now the marks for presentation, 5.1 up to 5.3.
And of course these would be higher. I would expect they'd be a little higher since they have such a warm performance about them.
First effort of the new season for Jamie Silverstein and Justin Pekarik.
Representing Germany, let's have a warm welcome now for Katie Winkler and Renee Loesch.
Back inside the World Arena here in Colorado Springs, the premier international event of the season held in the U.S. continues. National Car Skate America. The free dance underway. Here are the reigning German champions, Katie Winkler and Renee Loesch, in 4th place heading into this free dance.
The title of their program is Time Goes Millennium. Very nice shapes to start off with. Profound statement. The hands of time, very clever. they're getting into the routine. They were in a stop position for quite a while. Alexei have a lot more experience than Silverstein and Pekarik, and you can see that in their flow. They move across the ice. They have a nice ice coverage. To their skating. They work very well together. They look very comfortable.
This free dance, by the way, 4 minutes in length and worth 50% of the total score. And this is the third phase of the competition for these ice dancers, more extensive than the other disciplines. And a bit ironic because, for the most part, you see very little movement in the standings from start to finish. Most dance competitions.
That's true, Terry. A lot of times the judges sort of rely on what we call protocol judging, where they're afraid to move the teams around so that they might be taken off the panel, they might not be invited back for judging, and so they protect themselves, unfortunately. Now they're losing a little steam. But a lot of people may not realize that dancers spend so much time on the ice. They have the compulsories. They have to practice 4. They only competed 1 here in the first of the Grand Prix series. Then the original dance, and here the free dance. 5 hours on the ice, plus ballroom lessons, ballet. Doesn't leave a lot of time for fun. Their footwork is not as crisp as Pekarik and Silverstein. They skate a little further apart, and that's a little safer. And the nice dancing lift cannot go over the gentleman's head. His hands can't go over his head, rather. I think it's a really clever program. I really liked the shapes. I liked what they were trying to do. Something a little different. Just needs a little more time. It's the first competition of the season. A little more time, it'll look stronger.
7th in the world last season. Katie Winkler and Renee Losey in 4th place after the original dance, trying to move up. Silverstein and Pekarik in 1st in terms of those that have already skated in the free dance.
They had a lot of nice lifts. This is one of them. You're allowed up to 7 lifts in the free dance program. Nice change of position. Here you can see that they're in their footwork. They're a little further apart than Pekarik and Silverstein. Not as crisp.
And now here are the judges' marks for Katie Winkler and Renee Loge. For technical merit, 5.1.
So now the marks for Katie and Renee. The first set for composition, 5.1 up to 5.5.
See a little difference here. Some people probably appreciated the theme, but some others noticed that it was lacking in some difficulty.
And now for presentation, 5.4 up to 5.6.
They skated it well. They looked like they were enjoying it. It's a great program for them. It suits them.
So they've overtaken Silverstein and Pekarik of the U.S. right.
Here to represent Italy, let's have a warm Colorado Springs welcome now for Barbara Fusarpoli and Maurizio Margaglio.
They are certainly in the top group of elite ice dancers in the world. A top 5 finish the last 2 seasons at the World Championships, in 2nd place after the original dance. Barbara Fusser-Poli and Maurizio Margaglio of Italy.
And one thing you'll notice about this team, they really attack everything. They're fiery and they're alive. Of the dance, collections from Braveheart. It's a duel. Nice speed going into their first small lift. Lift. They get a good 5 revs out of that. Hear their circular footwork. Nice, fast feet. Notice the speed. They really cover the ice well. Nice positions. Called closed position waltz or foxtrot. The choreographer, Olympic champions Besyumenova and Bukin.
Shook and Platov for a time as well. Barbara and Maurizio live and train in Milan, but they have spent some time in the U.S. working with Tatiana Tarasova.
To lift your partner when you're in a hydroblading position, which means you're in a nice low position, your blade is skimming the ice. Nice balanced lift. Footwork. They started it off on their toes, which never helps you get speed, but they didn't quite clear the corner, but still nice. Just a little awkward. A strong program, but the last lift, it looked like they missed hands or caught one another's costume.
Trying to win the title here in 2nd place after the original dance. So a realistic shot for Barbara Fusser-Poli and Maurizio Margaglio of Italy. Obviously happy with what they just did.
Here we'll see a rotational lift. They're allowed up to 5, beyond 5. It's 3 revolutions minimum. 1, 2, looks like fun. 3, 4, and out.
Tatiana Tarasova with them. Their other coach, Paola Masadri, treated for heart palpitations Thursday night. She is fine, resting comfortably at the Skaters Hotel right now, so that's good to know. First set of marks, 5.5 to 5.7.
I think these are reasonable. You can see the marks have gone up for presentation. 5.9, excellent.
I guess Barbara's kind of happy about that. 5.6 up to 5.9. So they're the current leaders in terms of those that have skated. Fusipoli and Morgaglio of Italy. However, two teams left.
Please welcome now, representing Russia, Irina Lobacheva and Ilya Averbuk.
Back in Colorado Springs, the free dance continues. Your current leaderboard: Fusipoli, Morgaglio of Italy in the lead over Winkler and Lose of Germany, Silverstein and Pekarik of the U.S. in third. But here are the leaders after the original dance. From Russia, Irina Lobacheva and Ilya Averbuk.
This music is from Cirque du Soleil, and what they're representing is marionettes. Very similar to Winkler and Lose's, I would say, in terms of shapes and staging. Is always very expressive, equally. Sometimes the man gets lost a little bit in the make, but he really gives as much as she does. Bit slower than the Italians.
Irina and Ilya finished second at the Russian Nationals the last 2 years. Remember, the reigning world champions, Krylov and Ovsyannikov, not here because of Angelika's back injury. Colorado Springs, one of the favorite sites for Ilya, though. He won a junior world championship 10 years ago here with his former partner, Marina Anasina.
Who's proud to tell us about that. He said, maybe I won the second time. Some of their connections in terms of their upper body connections, their holds, are a little bit more difficult than the Italian team. But they're not as fast as Fusipoli and Morgaglio. Love to see that spin go to town. feeling, Terry, that they're trying to work through the subtlety in the program, get the mechanics down. It doesn't look quite comfortable enough for them yet. They said this dance has a lighthearted feel. I'm not getting that feeling. And I forgot the altitude might be a little bit of a factor. As much as I like them, I really want to like them, it just moved too slow. And it looks like it just needs to be worked out a little bit more.
As compared to Fusar-Poli and Margallo, who are currently in first place?
Yes.
We'll wait and see what the judges think. Lobacheva and Averbuk of Russia in first after the original dance.
This is their final lift. Nice dynamics, high to low. They're very capable. They're known for their unusual lifts, but this one, in the actual performance, was a little bit slow.
So now the first set of marks for Lobacheva and Averbuk.
5.7, 5.8, 5.5.
There are the marks, and those are not as high as Fusar-Poli and Margallo.
And that makes a lot of sense because Fusar-Poli and Margallo skated very strong. They were hungry.
And now the all-important presentation marks, 5.5 to 5.8, and those are not good enough. So the Italians in first place, Lobacheva and Averbuk, who were in first after the original dance, are now in second. But there's one team left.
Representing the United States, Naomi Lang and Peter Chernishev.
So it's Fusar-Poli, Margallo in first place. Lobacheva and Averbuk, the Russians, in second. Winkler and Lose of Germany in third. And here are the U.S. champions, Naomi Lang and Peter Chernishev, in third after the original dance.
And the music is performed by Sarah Brightman. It's called Anytime, Anywhere. This piece was choreographed by Christopher Dean. For is the difficulty. They skate very close together. They're very edgy. And they have tremendous control. Extensions in their free legs, always making a nice shape. Watch the male skater's feet just to see how controlled he is and how his footing is. Very pretty spin. Very difficult move as she's just holding on by her hands. He's creating all the momentum. She has nothing to say about it but to hang on. Beautiful changes of direction, really providing a lot of texture to the program. One way, then the other. Came out to Colorado Springs early to work with Christopher Dean to help condition the program. And you can see that. The confidence is there today.
Peter, by the way, made his way to the U.S. back in 1993 from St. Petersburg, Russia. Hopes to have his citizenship by the time the 2002 Olympics roll around.
Now Now this is their circular footwork. It's hard, the music is slow, so it tends to make the footwork look slow. But what they're doing is really pleasant, very smooth. Non-rotational lift, change of curve, one way than the other. Not as smooth as in practice, but so difficult. Great unisons during these twizzles. It's like watching one person. Lovely performance, very difficult choreography, well skated, beautiful.
Great reception for the crowd, too, here in Colorado Springs. 20-year-old Naomi Lang, 28-year-old Peter Chernyshev, the reigning U.S. champions, the final ice dance team of the competition. And you would expect high marks. Maybe tough to move all the way up from third place after the original dance. Remember, there are 3 phases of this competition, but a wonderful accomplishment nonetheless.
What's so unfortunate is that in the compulsories, they skated to the Viennese waltz. I had them in first or second place, and it's unfortunate they weren't rewarded for that. But they've maintained their composure throughout the competition. They're looking more confident, which is so nice to see. That's been a problem for them in the past.
We'll have their scores when we return to National Car Rental Skate America.
And now the judges marks for Naomi Lang and Peter Chernyshev for technical merit. 5.3.
Naomi Lang, Peter Chernyshev, the reigning U.S. champs, in third place after the original dance, trying to move up with their effort. The first set of marks, 5.2 to 5.6.
Well, look at the German judge, 5.2. I'm surprised. They did much better than that.
I can tell you're shocked. And now the second set of marks for presentation, 5.4 to 5.6. So they were in third place heading into the free dance, and that's where Lang and Chernyshev end up. But it's Barbara Fusser-Poli and Maurizio Morgalio, the 6-time Italian champions, celebrating backstage with Tatiana Tarasova, their choreographer. They will skate away with the championship here and earn 12 Grand Prix points for the win. Second place, Lobacheva and Alverbuk of Russia. Lang and Chernyshev of the U.S. earned 7 points with a third-place finish. Silverstein and Pekarik earned 4 points with a fifth-place finish. Susie Wynn has made her way over to have a word with Lang and Chernyshev. Susie?
Thanks, Terry. Naomi, Peter, congratulations. Now, you've come out here a little bit early to Colorado Springs to get used to the altitude and work with Christopher Dean. How has he influenced your skating this year?
He's been a very, very positive influence to us. When we were having a hard time, he kind of lifted our spirits up, and we set new goals with him, and he's just been a wonderful, wonderful influence to us.
Now, what have you been working on? You just seem to be improving at a very fast rate, Peter.
I'd say the 70% of our time we spend on working on the free dance because that was kind of challenging choreography for us, and I think that will bring us on a higher level of skating. Plus, as our coaches Igor and Liz were suggesting, we were working a lot on the power of our skating, our speed.
Well, you've got a great team. Continued success. We look forward to watching you. Thank you. Congratulations. Terry, back to you.